Nobody thought this cat would ever be chosen. Not the volunteers who walked past his cage every morning, not the visitors who stopped, glanced, and moved on to the kittens instead. Not even the shelter staff, who had started calling him the quiet one, because that was easier than saying what they really thought, that he'd probably be there for a long, long time. He was an orange tabby, fully grown, broad chest, striped coat, wide amber eyes that never quite settled on anything for long. Not a kitten, not the kind of cat people rushed toward. He'd already been passed over more times than anyone could count. 8 months of metal cages, 8 months of fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, and the constant noise of other animals crying out in the dark. 8 months of watching families walk through the doors, point at someone else, and walk back out without him. Every time someone walked by his cage, he'd press himself a little further into the corner, not hiding exactly, more like bracing, like he already knew how this was going to go. The staff had stopped expecting anything different. They fed him, cleaned his space, spoke to him gently, but they'd seen enough cats come and go to recognize what his stillness meant. She almost didn't stop either. She was there for something else entirely, a different cat, a different plan. But something made her pause at his cage. Maybe it was the way he didn't come forward like the others. Maybe it was the way he just sat there, still, watching her, without really letting himself hope. She crouched down. He didn't move. "Hey," she said quietly, "nothing dramatic, just that." He blinked once, slow, careful, like he was testing whether it was safe to. She stayed there longer than she meant to. The volunteer walked over, the same tired kindness in her voice that comes from saying this too many times. He's been here almost 8 months. People love the kittens. Nobody really looks twice at him. She looked back at the cage, at him, still sitting, still watching, still not letting himself expect anything. She said she'd take him. Nobody was supposed to choose him, until she did. The ride home was silent. He sat pressed into the corner of the carrier, small sounds outside making him flinch, his breathing quick and shallow. When she opened the door at home, he didn't run out to explore like she'd read cats were supposed to. He didn't sniff the corners or investigate the furniture. He just sat there, in the middle of the hallway, completely still, like he was waiting for someone to tell him this wasn't real. Days passed and the pattern didn't break. He found the narrow space behind the couch and stayed there. He ignored the soft bed she'd bought him and slept on the bare floor instead, like comfort was something he hadn't earned yet. The sound of the television made him flatten low to the ground. A door closing too hard sent him straight back into hiding. She didn't push. She didn't reach for him, didn't chase him out behind the couch, didn't fill the silence with noise he clearly didn't want. She just sat nearby sometimes, on the floor, not looking directly at him, just being there. Some days nothing changed at all. Some days he'd shift an inch closer, and that felt like everything. She started to understand what the shelter worker meant when she'd said, quietly, almost like a warning, he might not act like a cat who's been rescued, not right away. She hadn't understood it then. She was starting to now. She kept things calm during those early weeks. No sudden movements, no loud voices, no forcing anything on him that he wasn't ready for. She'd sit on the floor near him sometimes, not reaching out, just letting him decide what the distance between them would be. Some evenings, he didn't move toward her at all. Some evenings, that distance shrank by an inch, maybe 2, but something in him wanted to try. She could feel it, even on the days when nothing seemed to change. A small, fragile want buried under all that caution, something that 8 months in a cage hadn't managed to fully put out. Weeks in, she was sitting at her desk one evening when she heard something behind her, a small sound. She turned around slowly, careful not to startle him. He was standing, upright, back against the wall, front paws folded against his chest, like a person waiting to be noticed. His eyes were fixed on her, steady, like he was trying to say something he didn't have the words for. She didn't move. She just looked back. And for the first time since she'd carried him through that door, he didn't look away. That was the beginning of everything. Slowly, he started coming closer, first just to the doorway of the room where she worked, then a few feet inside, then closer still, always with that same careful, measuring look, like he was still gathering evidence that this was safe, that this was real, that nobody was going to change their mind about him. But he kept showing up, choosing again and again to be near her. His personality started to surface in small pieces. He found the sunny patch by the window and claimed it. He learned the sound of the can opener and came running. He discovered toys existed and started chasing them across the floor like it was the most serious mission of his life. And that standing thing, the upright posture, paws folded, it never went away. It became his signature. When he wanted attention, he'd stand. When something caught his eye, he'd rise up on his back legs to get a better look. She'd glance over from her work, and there he'd be, just standing there, patient, waiting for her to notice him. It made her laugh every single time. He looked exactly like someone who'd decided to become a cat and hadn't quite finished the transition. He climbed onto the couch, then the bed. Then one quiet morning, he stretched across her lap while she was reading, tucked his chin onto his paws, and let out the longest, slowest breath she'd ever heard him take, like he'd finally put something down that he'd been carrying for 8 months. One afternoon, she brought him out onto the balcony for the first time. He stepped forward carefully, whiskers working, testing every inch of this new, open space. Then a breeze moved through, just a small one, and his eyes went wide and bright. He rose up onto his back legs, nose lifted into the wind, and for a moment he looked fully himself. Watching him, she thought about how close this had come to never existing at all, how many people had walked past his cage. She started noticing things about herself changing too. Before he came home, she hadn't realized how much quiet grief she'd been carrying, some kind of loss she hadn't fully named. She hadn't understood how much she needed something to show up for every single day, until he was there, standing by her desk, watching her work, like being present was the most important job in the world. He didn't fix everything that felt broken in her, but he changed the air in that house, and he changed something in her that she doesn't think she could have reached on her own. There's a feeling she still can't fully explain, like he came into her life at exactly the moment he was supposed to. If you're thinking about adopting, remember this. They don't always arrive healed. Sometimes they come to you still carrying everything that happened before. Be patient, be steady, just be near them, because nobody was supposed to choose him until someone finally did. And once he believed it, really believed it, he loved her in a way that only a cat who'd waited 8 months for exactly this could. So here's what I keep wondering. Do you think animals who've been overlooked the longest end up loving the hardest once someone finally picks them? Or does every rescued animal love the same no matter how long they waited? Tell me what you think in the comments.